In this video, you will learn how to write correct sentences. You will learn how to fix two kinds of sentence errors. First, you will learn how to fix incomplete sentences. An incomplete sentence is a sentence that's missing a part. Then you'll learn how to fix run-on sentences. A run-on sentence is a sentence with too many sentences stuck together in one sentence with a capital letter at the beginning and full stop at the end. First, let's look at making complete sentences. A complete sentence is a sentence with all of the parts it needs to be a sentence, and no parts are missing. An incomplete sentence is a sentence that's missing one of its parts. It might be missing the subject, it might be missing the verb, or it might have an incomplete idea in the sentence. To make sure we have a complete sentence, we need to check for three important things. The first thing is the subject. The subject might be a pronoun, like I, you, she, he, it, we, or they. The subject might be a noun or a noun phrase, like these. A subject can even be a verb with ing, like these. For example, shopping is my hobby, or driving a car can be very dangerous, or smoking is a bad habit. The next thing to check for is the verb in the sentence. The verb is the action that the subject is doing, like runs, is playing, has, doesn't like, or will travel. It can also be a be verb like is, was, are, or were. The sentence must also be a complete idea. It shouldn't leave you asking yourself questions. We use words like and, or, but, so, and because to connect two ideas. So if you see one of these words, you should make sure there are two ideas in your sentence. For example, using and, my friend gave me a gift and I liked it. Here, and is connecting two sentences. If we say, and I liked it, that's not a sentence, it's an incomplete idea. My friend gave me a gift and I liked it is a complete sentence. The and is connecting two different sentences. And I liked it is not a complete sentence. The and should connect two ideas, but one idea is missing, so it's an incomplete sentence. So remember, when you're checking for incomplete sentences, check for the subject, check for the verb, and check to make sure the sentence is a complete idea. Look for words like and, or, but, so, and because. Now it's time to practice. Is this a complete sentence? Pause the video to think of your answer. This is an incomplete sentence. We can fix it in two ways. We can use talking as the subject of the sentence. It's a verb with ing. So talking on the phone all night with my best friend is fun. Now, this is the subject of the sentence, and this is the verb of the sentence, and we have a complete sentence. Another way to fix this sentence is to make talking the verb. We can say, I am talking on the phone all night with my best friend. Now, I is the subject, and am talking is the verb. Here's another practice sentence. Is this a complete sentence? Pause the video while you think of your answer. In this sentence, we have a subject. The subject is Bill. That's a man's name. We also have a verb, swam. We have a complete idea, too, because we don't have any of the linking words, like and, or, but, so, or because. So it's a complete idea. We have a subject, we have a verb, and we have a complete idea. That means it's a complete sentence. Here's another practice sentence. Check for all three parts. Pause the video while you think of your answer. In this sentence, we have a subject, the problem of global warming, but we're missing a verb. We could fix this sentence by saying, for example, the problem of global warming is very serious. Is a verb. That makes the sentence complete. Here's another practice sentence. Check for all three parts. Pause the video while you think of your answer. This sentence has a subject. The subject is she. It's got a verb, doesn't like. But it also has a connecting word, because. That means it should have two different ideas. Because should connect this sentence and another idea, but the other idea is missing. That means it's an incomplete sentence. We could say, she didn't buy the shoes because she doesn't like red shoes, and that's a complete sentence. But without the other idea, it's incomplete. Here's another practice sentence. Check for all three parts. Pause the video while you're checking for the three parts. In this sentence, we have a subject. Learning about grammar is the subject of the sentence. We also have a verb. Gives is the verb. I don't see any connecting words, and, or, but, so, or because, so that means it's a complete idea. This is a complete sentence. Here's another practice sentence. Pause the video while you think of your answer. This sentence has a subject. I is the subject. This sentence also has a verb. Ate is the verb. However, I see a connecting word, while. While's not and, or, but, so, or because, but it is another word that shows connecting two ideas. While should connect one activity and another activity. Here's one activity, but the other activity is missing. We could correct this by saying, my sister watched TV while I ate breakfast with my family. Now it has two ideas and it's a complete sentence. Here's another practice sentence. Pause the video while you think of your answer. In this sentence, we have a subject. My brother is the subject. We also have a verb, works. We don't have any linking words or connecting words, so it must be a complete idea. That means this is a complete sentence. Now let's take a look at how to fix run-on sentences. We just looked at fixing incomplete sentences. Incomplete sentences were missing a part. Run-on sentences are sentences that have too many sentences put together in one place. We can't just put a lot of sentences together without connecting them properly. They must be connected correctly. Here is an example of a run-on sentence. We had fun at the mall is one sentence, and we bought a lot of things is another sentence. We can see that because here's the subject, and here's the verb. Here's the subject, and here's the verb. You can see the writer tried to connect the two sentences by using a comma, but we can't use a comma to connect two sentences. We can fix this problem in two ways. The first way is by making two sentences. You can see the writer put a full stop and a capital letter here. Now we have one sentence, full stop, capital letter, new sentence, and sentence number 2. That's one way to correct a run-on sentence. Another way to correct a run-on sentence is by using a linking word. Here the writer has the first sentence, the linking word, and the second sentence. Both of these are two good ways to correct run-on sentences. Here is a run-on sentence. How many sentences are stuck together here? Pause the video while you count. Now let's count the sentences. Stress is a problem in our lives is one sentence. Here's the subject, here's the verb. We can cope with stress by meditating or praying is another sentence. Here's the subject and here's the verb. Because these help us to relax, here's the subject and here's the verb, but I see a connecting word. That connects this sentence and this sentence together, so those two sentences are connected correctly. The problem is here. Let's just stop the sentence and make a new one. We can put a full stop here and a capital W, and now we have two sentences, and this sentence is connected with because. There, we fixed our first run-on sentence. Let's look at another. How many sentences are stuck together here? Pause the video while you count the sentences. I see two sentences here. The first sentence, I like to read the Holy Quran to help me to relax, has a subject and a verb. This is a verb, but it's an infinitive. It doesn't take a subject. The same goes for this one. It's an infinitive verb and another infinitive verb. They don't have subjects, so they're not separate sentences. The second sentence starts with a subject here. Here's the verb. Here's another infinitive verb with no subject, so that's one complete sentence. Let's correct this sentence by adding a full stop and a capital letter. Here's a full stop. Here's a capital I. Now we have a complete sentence. Two complete sentences. Here's the next practice. How many sentences are stuck together here? Pause the video while you find the sentences. Let's take a look at the first part. Bill is the subject, goes is the verb. Here's another subject and verb together. Here's another subject and verb together. And here's another subject and verb together. I see 4 subject and verb pairs, so that must mean we've got 4 sentences. Let's make some changes to fix this run-on sentence. Here I'm going to add and. In the book, Bill goes to the museum and he sees that there is a missing painting. This is a good place for a full stop and a capital letter. The guard runs after Bill, comma, so he goes out of the museum. We took 4 small sentences and put them together into 2 bigger sentences. We connected the first sentence with and we connected the second sentence with so. So now we have 2 complete sentences. Here's another practice sentence. How many little sentences do you see stuck together? Pause the video while you count the sentences. Decide how you want to connect them. I see 4 sentences put together here. Here's the first one. My sister is the subject and went is the verb. She is the subject and bought is the verb. That's 2 pairs. They're black. They is the subject. Are is the verb. And they look fantastic. They is the subject and look is the verb. Let's fix this run-on sentence. Yesterday my sister went to the mall. Let's put a full stop and a capital S there. She bought a new pair of shoes and they're black with high heels. Now we connected those 2 sentences together. Let's put a full stop here and a capital T here. Now we have 3 complete sentences. Yesterday my sister went to the mall, full stop, new sentence. She bought a new pair of shoes, and they're black with high heels. The and is connecting 2 sentences. They look fantastic is the last sentence. We learned how to fix 2 common sentence problems. The first is incomplete sentences. To fix incomplete sentences, we need to check for 3 important parts. We need to check for the subject, we need to check for the verb, and we need to make sure it's a complete idea by checking for linking words like and, or, but, so, and because. We also learned how to fix run-on sentences. We can fix run-on sentences by making 2 sentences. Add a full stop and a capital letter to make 2 instead of 1. Or we can fix run-on sentences by using connecting words like and, or, but, so, or because. Then we can connect 2 sentences to make 1 longer sentence. I hope you learned about how to make correct sentences. Go practice on your own writing.